Greetings. So this class is dedicated to exploring dolphin pose and perhaps we'll take it a little bit further than dolphin. Let's just see what happens here. Dolphin pose, it's like downward dog, except that your forearms are down on the ground. And when I think about dolphin pose, I like to, when I'm exploring a particular posture, I like to look at the name of the posture. Someone gave it that name. They gave it that name for a reason, whether we understand or not. But then I look at, well, what are the qualities of a dolphin? And dolphins, in my mind, they tend to be rather joyful. They know how to play. And which is ironic because this posture doesn't necessarily feel much like play at all. It feels like there are some challenges. There's some challenges in the shoulders. There's some work to do in the abdominals. And there's some work to do in the legs, despite the fact that it may not feel like that. So when we're practicing dolphin, one thing about this posture is that we want to be very, very patient, particularly with the shoulders as we make our way in, okay? Wonderful core posture. So we'll attempt to bring some joy to this experience, okay? All right, so let's begin lying back. Okay, so on our backs, we'll take the legs long and the arms beside us, slide the shoulder blades down and press the palms downward. Just let the whole body land, slowly, slowly land on the ground. And as we lie here, you know, we all have very different bodies. And so sometimes the cueing that I give, you've got to check for yourself to see if that sounds like a good idea. But generally, the word I'm going to use a lot is tubular today. The idea being that the lower ribs draw in and down a lot to almost the sense of girdling or hooking the top of the pelvis. So we'll bend one knee at a time, draw the feet in close. You'll feel right away, if you've got your fingertips here, that they came in and the lumbar spine made contact with the ground. We like that. We like that sensation for our work today. So we'll extend the legs upward. Let's flex the feet and separate the toes wide and push through your heels first. Inner heels and outer heels. Quite active. You notice that the kneecaps are drawn up. We're hugging the bones of the legs with our muscles. And then keeping the lumbar spine down, we'll gradually lower our right leg until the lumbar wants to come off. But we're going to keep it connected to the floor. And then we inhale, come back up. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And all the while being very honest with what the heck is happening with our back. And using this, as we often do, as a breath exercise. You may explore in this last few, how far can the leg go down while keeping the spine connected to the floor the whole time. Some of you have got bent knees when you do this. Absolutely fine. Okay, just a couple more. We're waking up the abdominal region. Okay, all the way up. Pause here and let's take happy baby. You could wrap your arms around your legs first if it's easier, especially if it's early in the morning and you're just waking up, or take hold of the outside of the feet and draw the thighs downward. Release the back of the shoulders to the ground. Feeling the breath. Wonderful. Then take the legs all the way back up. And arms beside us again. Be careful not to press the arms too much. They're a guide. Lumbar spine is down. Point the toes this time. Lower the legs as far as you can, keeping the lumbar spine on the ground. Inhale, come back up. So we may not be going very far here at all. You can feel lots of good work. I like to exhale down, a little ujjayi breath, subtle contraction of the glottis at the throat, and then I inhale back up. Okay, let's bend the knees, place the feet on the floor, arms in cactus, just allow the legs to roll out to one side and then the other, lengthening the sides. Wonderful. And then come back up to neutral, take your legs long, and extend your arms over your head. With the arms over the head, if I stretch, my rib cage wants to pop right off the ground. So do that for a moment, just because it generally feels really good. You could breathe right up high into the top chest. It's a little bit like being on a roller coaster. Just let yourself go, like, ah! Okay, did you get that feeling? Now draw lower ribs toward the ASIS, the hip bones, and see if you can keep this. And some of us, the arms are going to come up off the ground. To get the lower ribs, just press downward. Good. If the arms float, that's just worth noting. Then let's turn the palms toward each other so the thumbs turn down. And this is where we get tubular. If we look down our body, we're going to turn our body into like a kayak shape, actually. So we're going to lift the feet off, extend the arms, draw the rib cage and the navel into the spine. Look at your feet. And then release, come back down. All right, so that's a really good case of finding joy in the most ridiculous places. So let's see if we can find some enjoyment here. We'll do it again. Lower ribs, draw in, navel to spine, arms extend, legs come up. Just take a look at your feet. And this is where tubular comes really into play. Palms face each other, thumbs turn down. That's a really lovely internal rotation of the arm bones. And then the kneecaps are straight up toward the ceiling. Good. Ribs draw in. Good. And then release, come back down. Just notice that after a little stress, there's usually a bit of relief. Good. Let's bring the knees into the chest. Give ourselves a hug. Good. And one more. So we'll emulate the dolphin pose slightly by sending the legs up, flex, widen the toes, pull out through your heels as much as you can. Knees can be bent. Rib cage draws down toward hips. Good. This time, grasp your elbows with the opposite hand. Push through your heels, and then as much of the back onto the ground as possible. Feel this, it's a triangular shape, isn't it? It's like the sail of a boat. You are lengthening the sail from your coccyx, your tailbone, all the way up through the elbows, from your coccyx to your heels. Feel that. And then from your elbows to your big toes. Good. See if you can lift your tailbone off the floor any amount and without rocking, just lifting. you know, it comes off just enough to put a 50-cent piece under there. And then release. Okay, so that was dolphin on the back. Let's explore it in some other spatial planes. Rolling up, hands to the ground. Take your legs back behind you, knees to the floor, lower down onto the belly, and we rest here. So one thing about dolphin is that because the shoulders need a little bit of opening, we want to spend some time early on in our practice doing that. Take your right arm out to the side, roll onto the right side. The head can be on the ground. Some of you will have your left leg on top of your right. You might also bend the left knee. And take your breath now into the collarbone area. So I have work to do in this posture. Some of you could very well take it further, but do note that you've still got this connection here so that you haven't lost that sense of being tubular. And let's come to the other side. Noticing what it's like on this side. Spreading the breath to areas in the lungs we haven't yet felt. And inhale, exhale, gradually come back down. Take the hands under the shoulders. Come up onto hands and knees, please. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Inhale, sweep the right arm out to the side and up. Exhale, right arm comes in underneath, and the left hand presses for a shoulder stretch. So to take this further, left hand could meet right hand. They hold hands. And there's a little pull. Yes, pulling the top right upper back behind you. You could make this more complex by drawing your left foot over to the side. What we care about is the shoulder here. Good, then coming back, left hand presses, back to hands and knees, left arm out to the side and up, inhale, exhale, under we go. Right hand presses, remember the holding of the hand and the gentle pull. Good, right foot might come over. If you make that move, you got to pull your sit bones up and back behind you. Good, inhale, exhale, we gradually return back up onto hands and knees. All right, take a look at your hands, please. Index fingers likely pointing forward. Some of you, it's middle fingers. But the hands, they spin out away from one another. And then let's take a downward dog with the knees bent first so we can send the hips way up and back behind us. Come up onto the toe mounds of your feet. And then so this is where, I'm going to demonstrate first where we can often go without thinking. The chest draws down to the floor. We've blown open the armpits, but remember tubular. So we're going to draw the lower ribs toward the hips and then wrap by internally spiraling the arms, wrap them, push the ground away. Some of you will begin to then straighten the legs or walk your dog a little bit. Good, then find that triangulation in your body from hips to fingertips, from hips to heels, inner and outer, pressing equally, and from heels through hands. We inhale, exhale, bend your knees, look past your hands, step or float forward. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, fold, release. Again, inhale, lengthening. Exhale, folding. And then inhale, let's sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale, release your arms. Good, mountain pose. All right, so it's so interesting how we can take one posture and put it inside another posture. And what I mean is the dolphin pose, feel dolphin in your mountain. Is that possible? Later we'll feel the mountain in the dolphin. So that means ribs down and in. Yeah. Extend through your fingertips. Wake up your legs. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, palms down. Step back to plank pose. Now push back through your heels and draw your lower ribs toward your hip bones to lower ribs. Good, look down at your arms. Strong palms, use your whole hand. Elbow creases usually face each other. They might turn out a little bit. Good, then find that space in your upper back. Round through the upper back, navel to spine. Good, then your head may very well drop. Lift it up and back a little bit. Then knees down, the whole body comes to the floor. Point your toes back. Inhale, lift the chest, pull. Exhale, slowly lower. Again, inhale. Exhale, lower. So this is where we let the ribs move away. Open the breath, open the front of the body. Exhale, lower. Good, tuck your toes under, take your hips back behind you. And we pause here. Bring your forehead to the mat. Draw your palms together in prayer position. Bend the elbows and draw your thumbs to the back of your neck. Then move the hips back as if you could lengthen your triceps here, because you can a little bit. Feel as though you've got these tiny helium balloons underneath your armpits. Just a little pressure upward there. And we breathe. And then release the hands to the ground. Gradually rise. Downward facing dog. Good, navel to spine. Tubular. We inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, look past your hands. Step or float. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, we let go. Inhale, rising. Keep the rib cage hip connection. Exhale, release the arms. Let's do that again. Inhale. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale. Exhale, palms down, step back, slowly lower or knees and torso down like the last time. Then inhale, cobra or upward dog. If you know it, press your feet. Exhale over the toes. Settle in here. So find lower ribs toward hips. Drawing back through inner and outer heel. Sweep right leg up and back. Hips are square. Inhale. Exhale, right thigh to rib cage. Foot lands lightly. Good. Back heel is off. Slowly rise. Now press big toe into the ground. Push back through your heel. Good. When you send your arms up, this is really good, interesting information here. You notice as your arms go up, does the rib cage pop open? For today's purposes, keep it in. Grasp the elbows. Opposite elbows sink. Good. Lifting. You could lift the triceps. You've got your fingertips on your elbows. Just lengthen triceps. Drawing lower ribs to hips the whole time. Inhale. Exhale. Hands to the ground. Right leg back. Lowering or meet in downward dog. 3 breaths. Waking up the body. Just circulate your attention through your body.
Every bit of you is engaged, but not too much. Left leg lifts, hips are square. Inhale, exhale, thigh to rib cage, foot lands. Push back through your back heel. We rise up. As you rise, keep this. Good. Find your opposite elbow, the one you didn't do last time. Sink in, push back through your heel. This is the practice of attending to the same dynamic again and again. Could look at it like a moving meditation. The mind so likes to divert or wander, go anywhere but here, but let's see if we can just be here. Inhale, exhale, hands down, left leg back, lowering. Inhale, we open. Exhale, back over the toes. Find your dog. And draw the front body up toward the back body. Inhale, exhale, bend your knees, look past the hands, step or float forward. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, palms touch. Exhale, releasing, mountain pose. Just notice now, how does the body feel? Feel the feet root. Remember this. Some of you, this isn't going to be an issue at all. Some of you tend to round here, so you're looking at lengthening. Many of us go like this, so we're looking to draw in. All right, so next step, bend the knees, please. Fingertips touch the earth. We come into Utkatasana, same idea. You can practically feel the dolphin pose. If you clasp your elbows, you'll feel it. I don't need to tell you, rib cage toward hip bones. Good, come down a little deeper. Press into your heels. You should be able to see all 10 toes. Check this out. Move pubic bone toward tailbone. See, there's this big arch that happens. Then move the coccyx, your tip of your tailbone toward your pubic bone. Then you've got that rounding. Now find the middle. Then inhale, sweep up. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step or float back, lower through. Inhaling. Exhaling. So we come forward to plank pose and wake up the whole body. So some of us may bring the knees to the floor for this next exercise. In fact, let's all bring the knees to the floor first so we can see what happens here. So if we bring the right forearm down, and then the left forearm down, and then the right hand, and the left hand. Can you feel your hips? What's going on back there? They're shimmying to the opposite side, probably. We're trying to keep them as level and steady as we can as we move the arms. How's that going for you? Okay, good. Then back to plank and the dog. Sweep right leg up and back again. Come up onto the ball of the left foot. Right thigh forward. Foot lands lightly. Push back through your back heel. Arms extend. Remember the hollow. All right, from here we take the arms up. Inhale. Exhale, left arm under right, or hold the shoulders. Palms touch. Left leg comes forward. It crosses over right leg. Squeeze to midline. Sit down. Keep your spine long. And we hug. And we hug because in dolphin there is some hugging. And we just get used to this idea of drawing everything into midline. Inhale, exhale, lift the left leg off And then send the left foot back behind you, pointing your fingertips. Extend through your left heel. Right leg straightens if possible. Inhale. Exhale, land your left foot. It's a warrior one position. Push back through the big toe of your left foot and the outer edge of the left heel. Pause, 3 breaths. As the arms extend up, we're opening the shoulders, but we're drawing the lower ribs down toward the hips. Inhale, exhale, unwind that. Take the hands to the floor, right leg back, downward dog or a vinyasa. Settling in, watching the breath. Subtle adjustments. Good, lifting hips up and back, lengthening the spine. The left leg extends, we come up onto the ball of the right foot. Inhale, exhale, thigh to rib cage, foot lands lightly. We gradually rise up. Take the arms up. Feeling the feet root, and then left arm comes on top of right arm. Come forward now, right leg crosses over left leg, and we sit down. Drawing everything to midline. Arms, legs, in fact, you could begin to take the arms up just a little bit. Balance is an issue for me today. We inhale, exhale, right leg, take it back. Fold forward, push back through your heel. Couple breaths, then extend the arms a little bit. Draw right hip down. Inhale, exhale, gradually land the sole of the right foot. Warrior one with eagle arms, still drawing to midline. Draw the lower ribs in, send the arms upward. Big opening across the back of the shoulders. Inhale, exhale, unwind the hands, left leg back, downward dog or a vinyasa. And then let's pause in child's pose for a minute, coming down, belly to thighs, forehead to the mat or a block. Good, and then let's slowly come up to a seat for a moment. And if you've got a strap, the strap can be really helpful for dolphin because if we take the strap, you've looped it. We take it above the elbows, just about the width of your arms. And we will bend the elbows and place the forearms down on the ground with your index fingers forward. Okay, so we tuck the toes under and we lift the hips up. I like this very much. I can actually rest my forehead down on the strap a little bit. But if you are using the strap, you can feel that you are really drawing the arms away from each other, which does create a little more space in the shoulder girdle. Imagine that you're taking the outside of your scapula and you're attempting to draw them around the front of your chest toward your sternum, which is impossible, but we imagine. Now wake up your legs, lift the knees up. The heels are likely off the ground, drawing them down to whatever extent we can. Pushing through the forearms, and it's common to think that the hands have nothing to do here. Press into your hands. Press into your hands a lot. Lengthening from elbows to hips. Then gradually come back down. Resting in child's pose.
Okay, so we're gonna do dolphin again. When you come into dolphin this time, you can use the strap again if you like or not. But imagine, can you find your mountain pose in dolphin? Can you find downward dog in dolphin? Those dynamics are ever present. So forearms down, elbows under shoulders. Good, then I'm all right now getting like a cat upper back. So rounding a little bit, tucking the toes under, pushing into the hands, especially the index pad and thumb mound, then lengthening the triceps, wrapping the shoulder blades, drawing the lower ribs up, extending the pelvis up, the front of the thighs are drawing way back. Those muscles are moving back into the femur bones. The kneecaps are lifted. The calves are flexing. The outer heels draw down. And I'm lifting and lifting. And then I'm remembering our good friend, the dolphin, who manages to have a good time wherever they are. Good. Navel to spine, lift the pelvis, and then returning. Come back down onto child's pose. Feel that. Good. Let's pause, just take a break for station identification for a moment. Coming onto the sit bones, and we'll recreate dolphin in another shape now. Drawing the legs up, knees come in close, navel to spine. Some of us will take the arms forward. You might also interlace your fingers. So what does this look like? It looks a little bit like dolphin, right? We could send the legs up, see what happens. We might decide sending the legs up is a terrible idea. Feeling, feeling, feeling. No shortage of sensation. Then slowly lower, take the hands back behind. So index fingers point toward the hips. Then reverse tabletop, inhale, lift up, chin to chest. Feel the whole back body, support the front body. And then release the throat. Head draws back. This is if you've got no issues with your neck. Hands and feet, push away, inhale, exhale, slowly release. All right, cross the ankles, hands to the ground, downward dog, and let's try dolphin again. Now this time, slowly lower the forearms. Good, walking in however much you can. Let's let the head dangle. Move right foot to midline, sweep left leg up. Could come up onto the ball of the right foot. Lengthening tricep. You just play with, will the foot come off? Gaze is steady. And then right foot, left foot, right leg extends. Lengthening from elbows all the way up. Playing here. What happens? And then down we come once again. Child's pose. Hands slide underneath the shoulders, gradually rise. Sweep the legs out in front once again. Okay, so this time, either reverse table or Purvottanasana. The legs are long. The hands come back behind. If you like the last variation, we rise up. Other ways, straighten. One leg at a time, lift the whole body upward. Slide shoulder blades in toward each other slightly. Zip up from your entire midline, big zip. Inhale, exhale, gradually make your way down. Good, and then knees bent, arms in front, one vertebrae at a time. We slowly lower to the ground. Coming all the way down, soles of the feet together, knees wide, palms face up. Good, and let's just absorb for a moment everything that's happened here. Just feeling into the sensations that we feel right now as they rise and pass. Wonderful. And take the hands to the outside of the thighs, draw the legs in close. Wrap the arms around the legs. Okay, so this may be enough for your practice right now, in which case I recommend lying back in Shavasana or sitting for a little while in meditation, given that all of this business was in order to be able to sit in meditation. If you wish to go on, this is what will happen next. We'll slowly rise up and we will move our mat to a wall. So why do we care so much about dolphin other than to be able to cultivate joy in any given moment? Once we've got a solid base of support, we're able to play with the legs a little bit, but understanding the relationship between the elbows, the shoulders, and the hips is essential. And that's why this has got to draw in to help support any sort of length that we hope to get with where we're going next. Many of us are going to be in a situation where when we bring the forearms down, they are not parallel. The elbows are out. And that tells us that ideally we have a block, but more ideally, we have the strap again that we can take. I like it around the upper arms. Some people like it at the forearms. And it could be that you're using both, because now what we've got is a really strong base of support. The key here is that if you are like this without the props, it's not going to be that just because you're using the props, you've created a good, strong, stable structure in your shoulder girdle. It's going to take time, and it's really important to give it time. All right? So do not force the shoulders. So the balls in my feet are up against the baseboard. Now with my hands, I've got this L shape. I've wrapped this L shape around the outside of the block. See that? I'm pressing into the block, but I'm moving my arms away. Then I've got that cat happening in the upper back, and I lift up, and I can feel that I'm a little further away from the wall than I'd like to be. So I'm pretty close, hands and knees, come up, and then 1 foot at a time lifts. Now there's some work to do here. As I extend through my elbows, I can feel my rib cage really wanting to pop forward. So I'm assuming that we're a little bit of alike. Draw the lower ribs way up toward the hips, then maybe take a leg up. And if you can play with lifting the right foot off the ground. Slowly come down. Okay, in that case, the ground was the wall, right? So you can try lifting off a little bit. You want to keep that sense of warrior 3. You want to draw in just like you did with the Garudasana arms a little while ago.
So hugging to midline, and these guys stay, the hip bones, they stay forward. All right, we're gonna try the other side, but this time I'm not gonna use the strap. So forearms are parallel, wrapping hands around block, hips lift up. Gather your length right here, press the palms, feet up. Good, so you've made a box with your body, the floor from elbows to hips. Other leg might go up, and then we can play with, your gaze is steady, play with lifting a foot off. You're thinking about your outer hips hugging in to midline. Slowly come down, child's pose. Slide the hands in beneath the shoulders and gradually rise up. Okay, that was a lot, wasn't it? If we're honest about it, it was a lot. It's a lot of work to do here, and overcompensating by turning ourselves into a flying banana is so easy to do. So we stay tubular. Okay, let's lie back. All right, slowly making our way onto our backs, resting downward. Releasing, just let the body draw down toward the floor for a moment. Feeling the ground. Okay, let's cap off this experience with fish pose, which has some similarities to the postures we've been working on today. 1 foot in at a time, lift the hips up, slide the arms in underneath. You might hook your thumbs, your palms are face down. 1 leg at a time. Draws down toward the floor, point the toes. Lift up, come onto your forearms. Feel your scapula, your shoulder blades support. And now we've got completely different experience where we're letting the lower ribs lift up toward the sternum, toward the throat, breathing into the throat as if you have gills. Strong, stable legs. Head can rest on the floor, or it can float, depending on your anatomy. Just take a few deep breaths here. And then gradually lower down. Coming onto the back. Let's take the arms out like cactus. Draw the knees in. Right leg crosses. Good. From here, let the legs travel out to the right. Sinking, push into the ball of the left foot a little bit. And then if you wish, you're going to take your left arm, internally spiral the whole arm. Maybe the palm comes to the ground, maybe not. Feel the breath move all the way up the left side. And coming back to center, right foot down, left leg crosses, legs lower to the left. And maybe right arm turns such that the palm might make its way down. You can feel how the whole right shoulder blade draws down toward the hip. Inhale, exhale, gradually make your way back. Legs come to the floor. Let's do a big wide Shavasana. As we close our eyes, we let the body sink. It's an interesting idea. and as yoga practitioners, a wise idea to entertain the fact that joy lives way deep down inside at all times. So the question then would be, what is between us and that joy? And it's one reason that we practice. Some things in life are difficult. What do we bring to that which is difficult? Just let the body settle. Feel into sensation. Widening the cheekbones, allowing the eyes to rest. And either staying right where you are, because that could be a really good idea, or slowly bending one knee at a time and rolling to one side. Let the head rest down on your arm. We always dedicate our practice to those who are struggling, and we see everyone happy and healthy and at peace. Good. Only do what is impossible to do. Slowly we rise. That is worth our effort. Yes? And come up to a seat. Just as we're sitting here, we become a little bit more aware of what's happening. Core, connected to courage, core. As we move inside, bring the palms together at the heart. Just a little space between the hands, like we're holding a hummingbird. And we'll close with one Om. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Om. Bring the hands to the forehead, right thought. May we be steady. May we be present. May we be joyful. The hands come to the mouth, right speech. May our words improve upon the silence. And our hands come to our heart, right action. May we be the change that we wish to see. Namaste.